Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Listen, y'all get these Africans out of here that come here trying to start mess like that other woman, because block those kind of people. So anyway, y'all listen. Donald Trump is offering jobs if you want to work for ICE. They got a $50,000 signing bonus, and if you have a student loan, your student loan is forgiven. Now, one of the things they're also saying is if you are a federal employee and you recently lost your job, they really want y'all to come to take those ICE jobs. Now, we know everybody is not made to be on these streets as ICE. That kind of job is not for everybody. But I guess if you have nothing at all and you got all kinds of debt and bills and rent and mortgages to pay, children to take care of, I guess if you're in a situation like that, you would definitely consider taking a job like that. I don't know what anybody's situation is, and I don't claim to know. So, I'm going to show you the video of, what Donald Trump is offering. So apparently, Donald Trump and Stephen Miller are trying to increase the number of ICE agents on the street. And they seem to be talking as if they got an unlimited budget to do this. And those of you that had student loans under Joe Biden, Donald Trump took all of that stuff away. And so people that are paying student loans, they said the bills are going to increase because Donald Trump is not going to implement Joe Biden's policies on student loans anymore. So people are all already in just a short period of time, they're noticing a big increase in their payments. So I'm sure that's going to become much bigger news in the weeks to come when people start getting, things in the mail. So this is what, oh yeah, the Klan and those neo-Nazis and stuff. Oh yeah, they gonna be drawn to it like flies. Okay, yeah, this is right down their alley. They get to grab on melanated people and beat the hell out of them and get away with it. Yeah. Oh, that's down their alley. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So for them, yeah, they'll be right on it. See, these folks, these Latinos and Haitians and Africans and Jamaicans, y'all don't know the kind of person that's on ICE. These folks have no emotion. It's just like policing in America. When they're dealing with us, they don't show 1 ounce of emotion. You really truly are in the presence of a full 100% animal. They show nothing. They don't even flinch at your pain. And that's who's going to be rounding you up and already doing it, because a couple of people got videos up identifying white supremacist tattoos on some of these agents that are out on these streets. They still can see because it's summer and they got on short sleeve. People are identifying those tattoos on these people. So they are out there. They are out there. The animals got heart, not the ones working for ICE, honey. You're confused. Not the ones working for ICE. I seen them on video. And when y'all, well, I can't say you, but when they're grabbing the immigrants, especially the ones out of the courthouse, and they're sobbing and crying, they show no emotion at all at you crying. So if you want to know what I mean, stand in front of a lion at a zoo and start crying and see if that lion will respond to you. Chances are they're not going to respond to your tears. Maybe if they're hungry, they may try to get at you, but if they're not hungry and you standing there crying, that lion ain't gonna care nothing about you at all. So y'all, let's get to it. Yeah, well, just Z1. I think when it comes down to police officers or any kind of official, I wouldn't even I would not even insult them by calling them dogs and cats. Dogs and cats deserve a lot more respect than being called an ICE agent. I really think they're below that. You know, when it comes down to any kind of authority, they have been nothing but straight up animals when it comes down to us. So, no, don't insult our dogs and cats. Even they deserve more credit. Even they do. All right. Right. Let me get rid of, right. Let me get rid of, hold on 1 second. Try this again. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Give me a one if you can see my screen. Oh, I must have some. Oh, I must have some immigrants in here. I love it. I love it. Hold on. You're talking about somebody wrote something about some Spanish speaking agents. I don't care about them. I don't care about them. But I know you don't either, i.e., agents speaking Spanish that speak Spanish. Who are they? Well, the thing is, just remember the Latino cops, they also take part in treating our people like dirt. And even, look, what happened to Philando Castile? That was a Latino officer, you know? So we can't forget that's an animal too, as far as I'm concerned. That's an animal too. All right, y'all.
The $50,000 signing bonus sound? Well, that's just the start of it. The incentives also include a 25% law enforcement availability pay for agents, student loan repayment, enhanced retirement benefits, all a part of DHS Secretary Noem posting a recruitment push saying your country's calling you to serve in ICE. And in the wake of the Biden administration's failed immigration policies, your country needs dedicated men and women of ICE to get the worst of the worst criminals out of the country. Now, ICE officials say applications are coming in already, and many who retired under the Biden administration are now coming back. As Border Czar Tom Homan says, he hopes to triple the workforce going after criminal illegal aliens.
If you have little D energy, couldn't cut it as a cop, washed out of the military, or just an incredible racist, ICE has the job for you. And what do you get if you support white Christian nationalism? $50,000 signing bonus and student loan forgiveness. Yep, ICE is offering up to $50,000 to join their ranks right now. And on top of that, student loan forgiveness. Now, let's be real. A lot of those hateful loyalists didn't even go to college, but a lot of Americans who are struggling to survive right now did. Yeah, this isn't your average job ad. This is ICE's Defend the Homeland campaign, a full blown, hyper patriotic, Trump branded recruitment drive to hire 10,000 new agents to display the country's hate for people who aren't white. It's giving propaganda. It's giving military cosplay meet fascist graphic design. It's giving fight the invasion energy just with a pension plan. They're not just offering bonuses, they're promising student loan forgiveness, housing, incentives, fast track promotions, all for the low, low price of your soul and human decency. This isn't about safety, it's about ideology. They're not recruiting public servants, they're recruiting loyalists. And that student loan forgiveness, there are no clear terms, no guarantee it's part of an official loan program, no details on who qualifies, just the promise that if you defend the homeland, they might clear your debt. ICE isn't hiring, ICE is mobilizing.
The Department of Homeland Security is offering signing bonuses of up to $50,000 for new recruits who join ICE. The offer is being made for new deportation officers, lawyers, and investigators. ICE is using recruiting posters similar to those from World War II in a campaign promoting the hiring spree. I'm Dale Willman, NPR News.
Well, right now, the country is nearing a potential inflection point as ICE raids to deport undocumented migrants and protest efforts to disrupt them both escalate nationwide. Earlier this week, the federal government rolled out a new recruiting effort. They're offering $50,000 signing bonuses, student loan forgiveness, and enhanced retirement benefits as they try to entice 10,000 new agents to join ICE's ranks. Their mission, according to the DHS press release, is to target the worst of the worst. But recent raids show them targeting cooks, grocery store clerks, even teenagers. On Wednesday, 11 workers were detained in the middle of their shifts at a pair of Mexican restaurants in Kansas City. It happened so fast, one witness says the burners on one of the stoves were left on. In New York, multiple employees were arrested at a popular Asian food market outside of Buffalo, forcing that market to shut down for the day. The store's attorney says it was targeted simply because it's an immigrant-owned business. But in the face of those kinds of raids, resistance is also growing. In New Haven, 150 people rallied in support of an 18-year-old high school junior who was swept up in a workplace raid and transferred to a massive immigration facility nearly 1,500 miles south in Louisiana. From coast to coast, volunteer groups are popping up to warn people when ICE might be coming. Here's what one man told our own Morgan Radford.
If there is someone being detained, we take their information, we let them know their rights, and then we try to provide a safety net around their family.
So, this is where all that extra ICE money is going? $50,000 signing bonuses, student loan forgiveness, and posters of Trump saying, defend the homeland? Yeah, it's about to get really weird. So ICE just launched a brand new recruiting campaign to hire 10,000 new agents, and they're dangling $50,000 bonuses, overtime, retirement perks, and even student loan forgiveness like candy. They're literally putting up posters with Trump and Kristi Noem saying it's time to remove the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens. And I quote, your country is calling you to serve at ICE. And let's be real, between that language and the benefits, you already know the kinds of people that this is going to attract. Look, when you throw a $50,000 bonus at folks to go hunt criminals, you're not just recruiting officers, you're recruiting vigilantes. You're inviting people who want power, who want action, who want a reason to put hands on people. And let's not ignore the Trump factor. This isn't about safety, it's about optics, about fear, about control. And with $170 billion in new immigration funding from Trump's big, beautiful bill, they're not just building a wall anymore. They're building a machine. So the real question is, are we building law enforcement or a deportation army with a hero complex?
Well, as the Trump administration accelerates its immigration agenda, ICE is hiring, and they're offering some sweet perks: a $50,000 signing bonus, student loan repayment and forgiveness options, and enhanced retirement benefits, to name a few. President Trump posting this on Truth Social. Our brave ICE law enforcement agents are getting the worst of the worst criminals out of our country: terrorists, pedophiles, MS-13 gang members, murderers, rapists, drug and human traffickers. We need more courageous men and women to make America safe again. Join ICE now, and we will take great care of you, just like you take care of us. Martha, we've seen historic record recruitment in the military. So will we see the same surge with ICE, especially with these great benefits?
I think so. I had an opportunity, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, went down to Texas and interviewed a group of ICE agents, because I wanted to see what they were like as people, and I wanted our viewers to get to know them a little bit. They were very committed to upholding the law in the country. Most of them were first-generation Americans themselves, second in some cases, but they don't see it as as an ethnic-based issue. They see it as upholding the law and keeping people safe on the streets of and the towns in Texas. So I just thought they inspired me, and they were just serious young people. And I think you're going to see a lot more of them. And I think it's good to have these kind of incentive programs. They got, I think, $65 billion to hire more people in ICE in the big beautiful bill, and they're going to put it to work. I think you're going to see a lot more of these, tent areas going up to hold people, because they want to discourage, they want to discourage people coming in. They want to uphold the law.
ICE is now recruiting ICE agents, right? They're recruiting ICE agents. Now, if you could remember a few months ago, they said they had a policy, the MAGA regime, they had a policy where if you don't pay your student loans, they're going to garnish people's paycheck, garnish their wages and stuff like that, sending out all types of threats. Now they're saying they need ICE agents, and they're promising to pay off people's student loan forgiveness, to sign up and go work for ICE, right? But let me tell you this. Not all money is good money, okay? I'm telling you. Not all money is good money, because guess what? They said they were after criminals, right? Guess what? You saw them running down people, chasing people in Californian fields. You saw helicopters landing in the fields, right? You see these ICE agents at courthouses grabbing people. They're skipping the due process. They know the law. But their excuse will be, we're doing what we're told to do. You see what I'm saying? To me, it's like an entrapment. It's an entrapment to people who are in dire need of paying off their student loans and setting them up to put their lives at risk, okay? Which in many cases, they will be breaking the law, have you seen on the TV. But let me say this. You see, when this MAGA regime passes, a lot of people involved in these things will be charged criminally, and you will be going to court, and you will be doing time. You can write that down. When this MAGA regime has passed, and the rich and wealthy has made their money from rounding up immigrants, they're building a lot of immigrant camps all over the place. Immigrant camps and immigrant camps everywhere, holding centers for immigrants, they're building. But they're running into a problem. They cannot find people to do the job, which I would call, they need my growth. This to me is a dirty job. Dirty job. So they need people to do that. That's why they have this recruiting drive. If you go on the Department of Homeland Security website, you'll see where it's posted, Operation Protecting the Homeland, or some bullshit like that. You understand what I'm saying? If you follow these little things that they're doing, you clearly see that they're pushing the poor and needy into a corner. And some people may not have knowledge and study and watch what they're doing. So you don't know you're being set up by the MAGA regime to put your life in danger and break the law. Don't fall for the bullshit. Do not fall for the bullshit. All these congressmen, senators, and all these officials in government who are pushing this MAGA agenda, they got uncles, aunts, cousins, brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews. Why don't they send their own family to go do this job? That seems like an option. Send your own family members to go do this job, and stop setting up poor people who are in need to pay off their student loans and all type. They're dangling all types of money in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Dangling all types of money in front of you to trick your mind. I won't be surprised for some. You think the people who quit Doge didn't know what they're doing? The people who are working for Doge and quit. Then there's a reason why they quit. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why people were working for Doge quit, because they saw that, look, I'm helping MAGA to break the laws of the land, and they quit. Okay? And if you didn't know about that, go do your research. So don't fall for it. They created this monster. Let them send their own family members and friends and loved ones on the front lines to deal with this madness. They said they were going after criminals. How many criminals have they got? All I see is women with their kids being dragged away, swept up in a van or some bullshit like that, with men wearing masks. Is that something you want to be a part of? For money? Not all money is good money, okay? And like I said, when this MAGA regime has passed, a lot of these people who are involved in this bullshit, you will do time. Peace.
All right, y'all. Can you hear me now? Boy, it's always some issue. Can you hear me now? Give me a 1 if you can hear me. Give me a 1 if you can hear me. Okay. See, my issue with the whole thing is, number 1, there's a lot of discrimination on these police forces in any kind of authority. Even when I go back and look at the history of the CIA and FBI, there was always the melanated agents that always had the worst time in these agencies. It is historic in this country. And if you sign up for that mess, and you are working with some white supremacists, it's going to be all the same racism going on in ICE, just like any other agency. It's not going to be any different. So that's what you're going to be walking into, especially if you're from our community in these situations. And number 2, no, I don't care about the illegals. Let them get snatched out of here, because each and every one of them have proven when they step on this soil, they don't know how to respect anybody. They all think we are the whipping boy and girls of the world. They can come in here and just talk to us and treat us any old kind of way. So yes, they must go. They must go. But y'all, if you want that kind of job, I guess it is what it is. But just know all of the racism you're going to be dealing with with the kind of monsters they're going to be hiring for these positions, because you know they're going to hire the most unruly, untamed beast for these positions. That's what they're going, just like they do for the police force. They hire a damn beast and give them a badge. Well, now they're going to be doing that with ICE. So if you want to get up and deal with that every day, then I guess it is what it is. There are other jobs out here to get. You sure don't have to deal with this. And you know how these people get. We seen the Irish as the police, how they just became straight up animals towards our people and became your biggest slave catcher up in here. See, the more power you give these people, the crazier they're going to act every day on these jobs. We have already witnessed these things, even with jobs that are not working for ICE. This is how it is. That's why I don't think it's a good job for our people. You watch it when the ones do sign up, give it about a year or two. You're going to hear about discrimination lawsuits and how they treat the melanated ICE agents different from the other ones. That's all you're going to hear in about a year, because these people can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. And they're going to start this. They can't go nowhere without starting this racism stuff up. And it's just going to be another agency displaying racism towards the darker ones that are part of the agency. That's all. It's just one more agency for them to be doing all that discriminatory stuff in. Mm-hmm. They're going to make you the fall guy for everything. They're going to blame you for everything. And you know how they are. Whenever they got a friend or family member in need of a job, who's the first one they're going to try to run off the job so they can get that job opening? They're going to get the melanated people, try to get you fired so they can bring their friends and family in. That's how it is. That is standard practice in America. So, you know, you do what you need to do to survive. And you know what they're going to get? They're going to attract these former cops that have been fired. They're going to attract these old failed ass military soldiers, you know, and people like that. Those are the kind of people they're probably already signing up. Those are the kind of people you're going to get. The ones that get promoted but didn't deserve to be promoted. Those kind of people. Mm-hmm. So for us, I don't think it would be a good job. Let them folks do it. They've been doing those kind of jobs from day one. Let them do it. Didn't they deputize each other back during chattel slavery to be slave catchers and the police and everything? Yeah, well, then, you know, y'all deputize your friends and family. Go ahead and do it again. We don't care. Yeah, and that's what the police department attracts, Christopher. Trash. That's what they got on all the police forces all across this country. Trash. Can you imagine the training they're gonna, because they're gonna have to be trained before going out there. But you know, I know these illegals think what's happening to you is terrible, but let me say this to you. It still don't match all of the things that have happened to us. At least y'all not getting killed. Y'all just getting detained and yeah, they are cropping up all around the country, these detention centers. And these ain't nothing but them damn rich white folks, the same ones that got these private prisons up, are now building these detention centers for the immigrants, because they never seen an opportunity to exploit people pass them by. So those are the same ones getting these ICE detention centers and everything built in the country. So no, y'all, look, if anything, watch out for the job openings that are out here. There's a lot of them out here. There are businesses that are mad at Donald Trump because he literally destroyed their business. There were a lot of these undocumented workers working in restaurants, and you'll see a lot of videos cropping up. Restaurant owners, not only did they lose their staff, nobody is coming into their businesses anymore. And that is a red flag. Whenever you see these businesses saying nobody is coming in, that's because everybody that was there working were undocumented. So it's restaurants, construction has gotten hit badly in this country with them having ICE raids at construction sites. There are so many construction companies that need workers right now, and they're desperate. Now, those construction jobs do pay a lot better, if you want, because a couple of our men went out there and got those jobs after a raid happened. But construction has suffered badly in this country. And you know what makes me laugh? They said these homes that these illegals built, they're not sturdy. They even called them IKEA homes. See, the things that our people built is still standing. The homes that our folks built 150 years ago, do you know those homes are still standing and still being occupied? Yes, they are. Those homes are still standing. They said a lot of these homes these illegals build, those homes collapse, or some storm comes along and the home collapse. They are not as sturdy as the ones that our people built. And just look at the cities, these big buildings that are, some of those buildings are close to 200 years old. Guess who built those buildings in these cities? Our people. And those buildings are still being occupied. Some of them are parking garages, some of them, but those buildings are old, y'all. They're very old and been in the city well over a century. Those buildings were built by our people, and those buildings are still there and they're still being used. That's why they said when people from our tribe build things, it's there forever. It's there forever. Mhm. I mean, look at DC. Those buildings were built by our people. Do they look like they're crumbling? That's why they said when our men build homes and business buildings, they are forever. And that is the truth. Those buildings will be standing forever when our men build them. See, once we construct something, it ain't crumbling. It ain't gonna crumble. My best friend, one of my close friends, her father was a bricklayer and he was a brother. And that man did that job his entire career, even before his father was one. He was a bricklayer and taught him how to do it. And he ended up doing that job for, I think, until he retired like 30 years later. That's what he did. hmm Yeah. I mean, look, they knew what they were getting when our people were building this country. They didn't just grab anybody, they grabbed the people they knew had actual experience and knew how to build things. But, next time you go to a big city, look at those massive buildings that are there and do some history on those buildings when they were built, the time they were built, and chances are they were built by all melanated men. And that's why that building is still in use today. Many of your city halls around this country were built by our men. City halls. It's not just Washington, D.C., it's many of the city halls in various cities around the country. The colleges, too. That's why Harvard is still there, isn't it? Yep. Yale, Harvard, the University of Penn, UPenn, all of them were built by melanated men. And is it still there? That's why, like I said, that's why it's always said when our men build it, it is there forever. Yep, the colleges, the universities, these Catholic hospitals, Catholic schools built by our people, and those buildings are still here. Mhm. And which tells you during those times when we were going through slavery and Jim Crow and our men were building in this country, it just goes to show you they did top quality work, top quality in order for this stuff to still be standing and occupied to this very day. Second to none work was done during that time. And these immigrants during it, people have already told me the quality of it is nowhere near as good as it used to be when our men were building it. And I believe it because they slap a lot of these homes up way too fast. And I know y'all noticed that too. It's almost like you see it being built and then you can go past there a month later, it's already finished. And they said those places are not as sturdy. And I believe that. I believe it. Mhm. Yeah. Like I said, I have heard more than one folks say that what these Mexicans are building is IKEA homes. That's what they're calling them, IKEA homes. Mhm. Yeah. I know when I had a fairly new house when we lived in Atco, and I had to have them come out on 2 occasions because there was a leak in my basement, and they called themselves sealing the leak, and it actually leaked again in the same spot, and they had to come out a second time and reseal it again, and finally, after the second time, it stopped leaking. Now, brand new home, basement leaking, you know? But see, that is the kinda quality you get today. That's what you get. Mhm. Oh, no, our brothers can do some serious work. That's why I said if I ever became a millionaire and I wanted to construct a house, I was gonna look for a construction company because there are some that are ran by our people. I was gonna be looking for that to construct my home. For real. Mhm. I don't know if that'll happen one day, but if it does, that's what I'll be looking diligently for our folks that got construction businesses. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And it's a shame, a lot of our men that do have like construction businesses, when they put bids in, they get overlooked a lot. And they are capable of doing many of the government contracts. But, it's just like anything else. If we show up for the contract, all of a sudden they can't give you the contract, but they can give it to everyone else. Go figure. Yeah, there still are a lot of them. In fact, the last plumber that came to my house, he was a brother. He was a brother. I had a new sink installed and I had a gooseneck faucet put on, and a brother came out and took care of the whole thing for me and did a good job. Did a superb job. Pipe fitters. I remember even back in the day, a lot of pipe fitters were brothers. Back when I was growing up, they were. There were a lot of them that had that particular trade, and they were pipe fitters. And a lot of them were our men. And I remember, in our house in Philly, some of the pipes had to be changed, and a brother came out and did it. And I remember when he came out and did it, he took some pipes out and put brand new, and they were copper, brand new copper piping in for our tub. And that was a brother. Mhm. So y'all, I just wanted to show you what's going on. The government wants to hire 10,000 ICE agents. They got $65 billion put aside to hire these 10,000 ICE agents. I say, give me my damn reparations. If you can put aside $65 billion, then you can put aside money for my reparations. That's what I say. Give me my reparations money, 65 billion. Isn't it amazing how when it comes down to anything else, this government can find money everywhere. They can find money out of the woodwork. They can find it everywhere. $65 billion is what Trump got put aside to pay for these new ICE agents. But if we get up and say the word reparations, oh, they ain't got no money. And look, he did it without doing a study. No study, no nothing. He just pulled the money that he needed to hire these people. That's all he did. So if you can pull that kind of money, Donald Trump, pull my reparations now. Pull my reparations. That's what you do. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. We are coming together at 3:45 for the Bible study, and I hope to see you then. Those of you that are not coming, please enjoy the rest of your day. Now, let me give my thanks to people that gave to my channel. Chief Raka, thank you so much for your super sticker and your support from my channel. And Chocolate Night 2, thank you for your super chat. Let them get those jobs and get Yahuwah's judgment. Yeah, well, we know the police is going to get their judgment because of what they've done to us. Yeah, they all got some judgment coming, that's for sure. Thank you for your support for my channel. Definitely. So, y'all, I will see you later. Shalom, family. Shabbat shalom, family. Shabbat shalom, family.